Now, just about anybody who's grown up or raised a family in the last 30 years will have come across some of these characters. We've got the Magic Roundabout, Parsley the Lion, the Herbs, the Wombles, Paddington Bear and Postman Pat. And Ivor Wood has had a hand, quite literally, in the making of them all. Now, it was something that you did to the Wombles that made me like them. It wasn't the narrative, it wasn't the voices, it was that wrinkly, crinkly bit on the snout. Now, what did you do to them?
That was a little extension because we're getting expressions out of these characters. Eyes moved, yes, they could blink or go to sleep if you wish, but then they didn't have really any mouths because you couldn't see them, they were tucked underneath. It was a way of giving expression to the whole face. You could tweak them up or down, and they were marvellous. They were very useful for sniffing.
Now, the Postman Pat character, he didn't exist before the animation, did he?
No. Postman Pat was BBC who came one day and said, we want to do a country series. Do you have an idea? We have a writer who we've seen who thinks he's got a bit of an idea, you know, do you want to join up? And that's how we started. It was John Cunliffe. We even went up to Cumbria because that's where John Cunliffe was living at the time. We wandered around. I took a photograph of a real postman coming out of a farm.
So did the real Postman Pat look like your Postman Pat?
He wears glasses, but I think that's about all you can say in poor chap. No, he does not have the nose, the one I gave to Pat.
Now, did he always look like that from the outset?
More or less, except the first mock-up I made, which was presenting it to the BBC. I made him the way we saw this postman coming out of the farm. It was the end of winter, and he was wearing this fur collar with a leather jacket. And I don't know why I represented him the same way. I've still got it here. It's just that way. It was only afterwards we had to ask, even the post office, what colour uniforms do you have nowadays? Very kindly sent us photographs. And they were grey uniforms. We said, we can't do this in grey, so we changed it to blue.
And what about his clothes? How often did they have to be replaced?
We used to, because the series were there were films of 15 minutes long, it was replaced about every 1 or 2 episodes. Pure and simply is because you're touching him all the time. And it becomes threadbare.
And so how many other characters are there you can think of?
I think last time I counted there was about 22. My favourite, and a lot of the animators who worked with me, is Ted Glenn. He's quite a character because he's the odd job man, but he's an inventor. He constructs all sorts of strange things, and he's very, very much in technology.
Now, you've influenced 2 generations of children at least. How does that make you feel?
I must say, working for children is something that you can feel content about, because I've had quite often mothers who suddenly realised who I am and come up to me and said, oh, she says, I love your films, but I'm very sorry, it's not particularly because I watch them, it's because when I put whatever age group it is in front of the television and one of your episodes is on, I get 1/4 an hour peace and quiet, and it's so nice. I really love your stuff.